So, can the panelists please discuss bankruptcy risk in respect of override deals versus mineral deals? Does the addition of reversionary features increase bankruptcy risk? Can anyone feel that?
I would say very briefly, I'd say it doesn't change anything as to how you analyze the bankruptcy risk between a working interest deal or override deal. The bankruptcy risk is determined on the exact structure of the deal and the counterparty risk. And you conduct the bankruptcy risk for each single deal differently and look at it, how you structure it, and also investors' appetite for how much bankruptcy risk you would take. Like if you do a transaction across from an investment grade company, you're not going to worry too much about it, right? And if you do a transaction from a company that's already highly levered, you may want to do some structuring maneuvers to make sure the transaction is bankruptcy remote.
Yeah, I guess on that topic, I mean, what percentage of the E&P world today, and I know I'm asking you guys to pull a number out of a hat here, but what percentage of the E&P universe is financeable with an override structure when you think about bankruptcy risk? Do we need more consolidation? And those types of players are the ones that are more palatable for you guys? I mean, banks can't touch them, but how much further, Zach and Paul and others in your shoes, can you reach? Any comment?
$70 oil helps. That I will say. Look, I look at it a little bit differently. I actually like the override asset purchases because I mean it's a well-defined asset class, and like Tom said, it's been around for a very long time. Especially depending on the state that you're in, it's very well formulated and known by the industry, and so I'm not as worried about it from that standpoint. I think the bigger question is, do you want to be in business with an operator that may go bankrupt? Because, you know, that likely the management team is going to change hands. What's going to happen if wells get shut in? You know, are the wells going to be optimally operated? Like, to me, that's more of the question. And frankly, you know, there's high yield markets are wide open today. So I don't think you can sit here and say, hey, you know, this makes sense for the mid caps, even the SMID caps today. I mean, what we're seeing going on in the high yield markets is kind of crazy. And so we actually look at it and say, let's look at the asset, let's look at the operators as somebody who's going to be in business for a long time that we want to be in business with. And let's figure out a structure that allows them to achieve what they want and make sure we protect ourselves. So I think it's actually a very flexible way to invest. And you're just going to be working with different companies at different points in the price cycle.
I think, Tim, you can say that it is the most senior security in the oil and gas business. You actually own, in the original ones, the rights to the underlying land, the minerals. And so it's the most senior security. The risk, as Zach says, is you're still dependent on an operator to make the engines work out in the field and to repair the wellheads and do all the things one needs to do. If the guy is going bankrupt, he has other things on his mind. So there's indirect risk, but I've never heard, I'm sure it's happened, but I've never heard of anyone even remotely sophisticated losing assets in a bankruptcy when they're in a mineral or royalty position. You'd have to have an incompetent lawyer, certainly not someone like White and Case.
The one thing I'd add to this too, to echo Zach's comment, it's sort of is the juice worth the squeeze a little bit, in the sense that you really ultimately are underwriting the rock here. And, you know, just because you are senior doesn't mean that you're not going to have a significant legal grind going through the process there. So what cures that is underlying economics and strong commodity prices, hopefully locked in by some sort of hedging program.
Yeah, I would add that you do have to do state-by-state analysis based on where you're getting the override from, because the treatment of override between the states and the state law are slightly different. There's there are minority of states could treat the override as a personal property rather than real property, that could have more pressure on bankruptcy analysis, but it's a state-specific analysis.